Hello, everyone, and welcome 2024 Employing U.S. Vets Conference. My name is George Altman. I'm president of Vets Indexes, and I want to say our team is so grateful to each and every one of you for taking the time to join us today. I know we all have busy schedules, myself certainly included. Time is our most precious, non-renewable resource. Thank you so much for entrusting us with your time. We have put together a jam-packed agenda for today, filled with thought leaders in veteran employment. I have absolutely no doubt that your organization's veterans program is going to benefit from what you've learned today. Before we get started, I want to start by sending our best wishes to everyone who's been affected by Hurricanes Helene and Milton. I know several of today's speakers are dealing with the impact in various ways, some who are near the affected areas, some who are reservists preparing to aid recovery efforts, as our brave Guard and Reserve forces do with every major disaster. And I know that many of you attending today have also been affected or have family or friends who have. My own parents are in Central Florida right now, so I understand. Thankfully, they are fine. I know not everyone is so lucky. So everyone, please join me in wishing a speedy recovery for all. While this is a very scary time with hurricanes, it's a very exciting time in the veteran employment space, both the employment space as a whole and for Vets Indexes in particular. You know, when I started working on veteran employment issues more than a dozen years ago at this point, the unemployment rate for veterans was just through the roof. Very few organizations were focused on veteran hiring or employment issues. I am happy to say that is no longer the case. Employers are now in very stiff competition for veteran talent with unemployment near record lows. We've witnessed this surge of interest firsthand here at Vets Indexes, really across all of our initiatives. This conference has grown from fewer than 250 registrants just 4 years ago to more than 1,500 for today's event. Incredible number. Similarly, our Vets Indexes Employer Awards program, which I'm going to tell you all a little more about in just a moment, has tripled over the past couple of years. And Vets Indexes' newest initiative, which can benchmark your organization's veterans program against what others are doing, that's grown an incredible 800% in just the last year. So for the many organizations joining us today for the very first time, welcome. If you find today's conference valuable, please don't let your organization miss out on the employer awards or the benchmarking. Those can really help you take your veterans program up to the next level. Stay tuned for more information on those. Before we get to that, though, let's start by thanking the people whose support made today's event possible. We always have to start by thanking the folks who are here today to support our nation's service members, veterans, members of the National Guard and Reserves, as well as military spouses. You are the reason for all of this. Thank you. Thank you as well to our sponsors, whose consistent, ongoing support is absolutely essential to making these events possible. For today's event, our silver sponsors are General Motors and GXO Logistics, bronze sponsors ETF Global and Spectrum, and event friends Benelink, Chemonics, and Witham. If you are interested in sponsoring future conferences, perhaps our upcoming spring 2025 conference, please reach out. You can email us at info@vetsindexes.com for more information. You can also learn more about sponsorship opportunities by downloading our sponsorship brochure. And you can find that in the Vets Indexes Expo booth. To find that, go to the Expo section on the left side of your screen, and that will take you to Expo booths for Vets Indexes, as well as several of our sponsors and participants. You can also find more information on the Employing U.S. Vets Conference website. Heads up that for our coming spring conference, sponsorship opportunities are limited, and they're always in particularly high demand for the spring conference. So if you're interested, definitely better to reach out sooner than later. Thank you very much to our conference education partner as well, SHRM, NYC SHRM. That partnership with NYC SHRM has made it possible for us to grant SHRM and HRCI recertification credits for all conference attendees. You're going to be getting more information on how to claim those credits in a follow-up email we're going to send next week. And of course, a big thank you to all of today's speakers for sharing your wisdom and insight with everyone. We really appreciate it. Now, we have designed today's event to provide specific, actionable advice to organizations of all types to help them improve their veteran programs. Whether your organization is brand new to this space and still has a lot to learn about veteran recruiting, hiring, development, retention, and all of the associated issues, or whether your organization has been a leader in veteran employment initiatives for years. Regardless, we will have valuable advice for you. Today's event is going to run from now through 4 p.m. Eastern today. We've assembled an amazing group of speakers. They represent companies large and small, nonprofit organizations, colleges, universities, and more. They are divided across 7 panels that are going to be covering issues including improving veteran employee development and retention, strategies for getting more executive support for veteran employment efforts, military spouse recruiting, hiring vets for senior roles, and much, much more. In addition to our typical keynote and full conference panels, I should mention that we also have 2 rounds of breakout sessions where you're going to be able to pick the topics most relevant to your organization's needs. And lastly, we will be posting videos from all sessions on our conference website by next week. So anything that you might miss live today, you'll be able to catch up on later. Now, 3 quick housekeeping notes that will be helpful to you throughout the day. First, we encourage you to ask questions of our panels. As you think of questions, please enter them into the Q&A chat box. You can find that Q&A chat box on our platform. Look for the 3rd tab over if you have the chat open, or it's the 3rd tab down if you have the chat hidden. You're looking for the icon that looks like 2 chat bubbles. Our panels are typically going to dedicate the last 5 or 10 minutes to answering your questions, so please enter them as you think of them. Second, please do post about today's conference on social media using the hashtag #EmployingUSVets. Again, hashtag #EmployingUSVets. And lastly, heads up that we have just opened up registration for our Spring 2025 Employing US Vets Conference, which is going to be held April 10th in New York City. We have tickets available right now. So you can reserve your tickets both in person for those who can make it to New York, and we have virtual tickets available for those who cannot. To register, just go to employingusvets.com and click the green button that says register now for the spring conference. At that spring conference, we are going to announce the winners of the 2025 Vets Indexes Employer Awards program, which is just about to kick off. The growth in this initiative has been absolutely amazing. Our 2022 program had 118 organizations participating. Just 2 years later, our most recent 2024 program had 344 participants, about 3 times as many. Incredible growth. So if your organization isn't among those yet, now is the time to join everyone else. And this is actually the perfect time for us to be having this conversation, as our next survey is launching in less than a month. I know many of you here today are very familiar with the program, but I'm also very happy that we have a bunch of newcomers. So for folks who are not familiar, I'm going to give you a very quick synopsis of what you need to know about the Vets Indexes Employer Awards. Big picture, this is an annual survey and recognition program that works by surveying employers on their veteran-related policies, practices, outcomes, and presents top finishers with awards that recognize their achievements. Important to emphasize, this program is entirely free of charge, and it is not for sale in any way. Unlike some other veteran employment award programs that you may have encountered out there, we do not charge employers to participate, to be evaluated, or, and this last point is particularly important, we do not charge employers to use the award logos that they earn. The Vets Indexes Employer Awards can only ever be earned based on what organizations do for veterans. They can never be bought, and that's an important ethical line in the sand for us. We've also set up this program with very strict confidentiality measures in place. We get fairly in depth in this survey, ask for a lot of information on your veteran efforts, information that many organizations would consider proprietary, would not want publicly released. We understand that, and because of that, we have set up strict confidentiality measures that guarantee of all the information you enter on the survey, there's only 3 things we could ever publish about your organization. Number 1, your organization's award level. Number 2, your organization's name. Number 3, your organization's logo. That is it. So don't have to worry about any information getting out. This program, I also want to emphasize, is open to organizations of all types. Publicly traded companies, privately held companies, nonprofit organizations, government agencies, colleges, universities, you name it. Bottom line, it does not matter what kind of organization you represent. If your organization is focused on veteran hiring issues, this evaluation, this award program is for you. Our 2025 Vets Indexes Employer Award Survey is launching in just a few weeks, November 4th. So now is the perfect time to sign up if you have not participated before. And what I want to do right now, if you will bear with me for just 1 second to get this set up, I'm going to set up a screen share so that you all can see exactly what you have to do to get set up with this program. So right now we are on, hopefully everyone can see my screen. We're on a page of the Vets Indexes website, vetsindexes.com/employer-awards. And this is kind of the main program, main page explaining how the program works. The part that I want to direct everyone's attention to, if I scroll down just a little bit, near the top, you'll see this big yellow box, register here to participate in our awards program. You can register your information right here, and you will be added to our invitee list. That will guarantee that when we launch the survey, which is going to happen November 4th, you will receive an invitation to participate. It does not in any way obligate you to actually submit a survey. So that's how to participate. Now, let's congratulate the awardees from our 2024 program. Again, if your organization does well in the 2025 survey, you will be on this list. So let's congratulate all of our awardees, and I will scroll through them so you can see who they are, starting with our 5-star employers. Then our 4-star employers are next. And as I'm scrolling through this list, you're going to see a lot of different organization types, from giant companies that we've all heard of to much smaller companies, state government, local county sheriff's offices. Bottom line, I think this really kind of validates these awards really are equally available to organizations of all types. Next are our 3-star employers. And finally, our recognized employers. I will also mention now that in addition to making your organization eligible for award recognition, as all of these organizations you're seeing have been, participating in the Vets Indexes Employer Award Survey also makes it possible for your organization to participate in the Veteran Employment Benchmarking Service. So I put together a few slides to show you what that service is and how it works. I think pictures are worth 1,000 words for things like this. So included some sample screenshots to give you an idea of the type and detail of information that you can get from our benchmarking service. So right now we are, big picture, I should start by explaining how the benchmarking service works. The main idea here is we're collecting voluminous information in the Vets Indexes Employer Awards Survey. And we have a ton of data What the benchmarking service does is takes all of that data, evaluates it, crunches the numbers, and then spits it right back out at participating organizations, allowing them to benchmark what they're doing in the veteran space with what other organizations are doing. On this screen, we are looking at the summary level benchmarking. We also have question by question benchmarking that I'll show you in just a moment. But let's start on the summary level. So what you're seeing here in this screenshot, which I should mention, you're looking at sample data right now. This is not reflective of any organization. It's also not reflective of our accurate averages, just for demonstration purposes to give you an idea of how this works. What you're seeing here is our summary level page, where you can see our 5 main evaluation categories that we consider in the Employer Awards program: veteran recruiting and hiring, veteran employee development and retention, veteran inclusive policies and culture, Guard and Reserve support, and military spouse and family support. Those are the 5 categories, and what you can do here is you can benchmark your organization's performance, indicated by the red circle, against 4 different comparative averages. The overall average is our full field of survey respondents, everyone who responded to the survey. The green star is the average among our most highly rated organizations, 5-star employers. Then we have 2 looks at peer group comparisons. The light blue diamond is a size-based peer group comparison that compares what your organization is doing to other organizations with a similar size and structure as your own. And our newest addition to the benchmarking platform is the industry peer group average. This uses NAICS codes to benchmark your performance against other organizations in the same industry as determined by NAICS codes. So this can be tremendously valuable as you're setting priorities and trying to figure out what do we focus on more, what do we focus on less, where are we really strong. Again, this is sample data, but if this were your organization, a summary screen like this would indicate you're doing really well on veteran inclusive policies and culture, maybe some room to improve on employee development and retention and Guard and Reserve support. This can be tremendously valuable, but from my perspective, I think the best value of the benchmarking is when you go beyond the summary level overview, which I think is you're looking at the full forest, and then you zoom in and look at a few particular trees. Look at some of the questions, the particular individual questions that led to these overall scores. So let me give you a few examples of those. Something that I think is very unique about our evaluation and about this benchmarking is that we're looking at veteran employment issues, not just from one angle, but from all possible angles, looking at inputs as well as outcomes. Are the programs and policies you put in place, the inputs, having the desired outcome with your veteran employee population? So here I have an example related to veteran job applications and associated veteran hiring, where you can see what your organization does in terms of policies related to what happens when a job application comes in from someone who identifies themselves as a veteran. You can see the various options of kind of special treatment those folks can get, and for each of these same comparative averages, how commonly each of these groups actually puts these policies in place. So that's the input. Then the outcome, okay, is that actually making a difference in our veteran new hires? So very valuable. You can look at it from a few perspectives here. Also important to emphasize, we can show you not just 1 year's worth of data, but we can show you up to 6 years of longitudinal data. So you can see not just where you are now as a snapshot, but the long-term trend line. Are you headed upwards in the right direction, or are you headed downwards in the wrong direction? So I could talk about this benchmarking easily for the next 20, 30 minutes, but we have such a jam-packed agenda, I unfortunately have to leave it there. So last page, few QR codes. You can just pick up your phone, turn on the camera, and scan these to follow up on some of the items we discussed here today. To get on the invite list for the Vets Index's Employer Awards, which again opens up the benchmarking to you, just click here on this left side QR code to register for our Spring 2025 conference, which is going to be April 10th, 2025. Click this QR code on the right. And to connect with me on LinkedIn, click this QR code on the bottom. I will also mention one last item. Please, if you participate in the 2024 survey and you haven't done the benchmarking yet and you'd like to, please reach out to me, survey@vetsindexes.com. We can get that set up. Now is actually the perfect time for us to do the benchmarking, as it can be a great preparation for getting your 2025 survey response together and in order. So I am going to stop the screen share right now and